Who would have thought Dennis Smith Jr., the number 9 overall pick for the Dallas Mavericks back in the year 17, is going to be competing for a training camp deal with the Dallas Mavericks. Charania put out in a tweet. Now, the report is going like this. Roster spot 15 likely comes down to Brandon Williams versus Dennis Smith Jr. They need a backup point guard as D'Angelo Russell is expected to start. And with Williams having $200K to $850,000 increase in salary protection if he's on the roster for the Mavericks' first game, will be the deciding factor, while Dennis Smith Jr. is on a training camp deal, which makes him a non-guaranteed contract if he were to make the Dallas Mavericks roster. Now, the Dallas Mavericks, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts, are waiting for Kyrie Irving. If he does come back from the ACL injury after the All-Star break, they're probably going to have a starting lineup of D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively with Daniel Gapper, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Caleb Martin, Dante Exum, Max Christie, Dwight Powell, and Jaden Hardy as their reserves, with Brandon Williams and now Dennis Smith Jr. duking it out for that third guard spot, as Jaden Hardy and Dante Exum are more two guards that, they can play point guard, but they're more two guards. And Miles Kelly and Ryan Nemhard are their two-ways, with Matthew Cleveland, Musa Cece, and Jamarian Sharp all duking it out for a two-way spot on Exhibit 10 contracts. So to me, when you look at this situation, Brandon Williams has been a fun story, but Dennis Smith Jr. is someone that we saw last play in the NBA as a guy who reinvented himself from being this high-flying athlete that suffered knee injuries and never quite capture the peak consistently enough that he had shown in the beginning of his career, and then becomes in Detroit, Portland, Charlotte, and Brooklyn a defensive playmaking guy who over that span averaged 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists a night with a steal a game. Someone that really was showing a change in his style of play and understanding that if he can be this second unit guy, that the 3-point shot was shaky, but he was someone who maybe understood that he didn't have the explosiveness that he used to, but has better feel to the game and is able to guard multiple positions and has become better at shot selection. He's someone who can get to the rim and finish solidly. He can dribble, penetrate, and be a slasher using his dribble skills to create space for himself or for his teammates. And even though he might not be the athlete that he once was, he still has the athleticism and the court vision to take advantage of open courts and make a play in the fast break. He's a solid rebounder, an active defender with good hands, and can get some steals. And he's able to navigate through screens and is just really engaged at all times. And obviously, Dennis Smith Jr. isn't the guy who was once seen as the potential franchise point guard for the Mavericks and the Knicks after he was traded, but he's someone that his career trajectory has gone from being an inconsistent player that obviously he's not a star or a starter, but he's a defensive player who's able to get downhill, score if needed, but he'll create for others and defend multiple positions, ones and twos. Now, I know the reason why he didn't get signed, from what I was told, was he had a deal with the Bucks basically, but he wanted a multi-year deal, and nobody's offering him a multi-year deal. All the contenders were offering him 1-year deals, and then he goes to Real Madrid. And my understanding, talking from people who were, scouting or coaching in Real Madrid, or in Spain, not for Real Madrid, but in Spain, he basically was someone that showed up out of shape, and allegedly, and they just parted ways. He was like completely ineffective. So I just think that was more so that it was just kind of like a shit situation. I do believe he could be the perfect guy for a team like the Mavericks, who need somebody. And Brandon Williams, though, had like a really good end of the year. I think they just like that defensive style. And he basically is someone who's not giving them anything. Like, they're not losing anything by giving him an opportunity to come in and play, and be a training camp guy. If anything, it's a situation where he could use that to, even if he doesn't make the team, it's probably an Exhibit 10, so he can either play for the Mavericks G League team, be in the G League, get some tape, and then go overseas, or just use this to get late. But what we do know, I know they just put out an article, ESPN, that yes, he's competing for the roster spot. Spent his first year and a half there. He's part of the trade that sent Kristaps Porzingis, and he played literally a month for Real Madrid. He's a guy who's averaged 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Pretty shit article. And he played 3 different teams in 3 consecutive seasons, the most recent coming in 23 to 24, where he ranked second in steals per 36 minutes among NBA players who played at least 1,000 minutes. Wow. Earth-shattering stuff. So, I want to hear you guys' opinions. What did you guys think of this? And do you guys think that it's going to make a difference, or he's going to be making the roster? If it does make the roster, will he make a difference? That's the question I want to know. I want to know. What's that song from Night at the Roxbury's? Right? I want to know. Oh. Right? I could be wrong on that, but that's it. I feel like if I just sound stupid. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know if you guys add anything else. That's basically going to be it from me. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good jazz. I appreciate it a ton. And yeah, I think it's definitely interesting when you see something along the lines like this, because what's going to happen?